it is said, the first sign of intelligence is not to say anything. The second sign of intelligence, since if we have lost the first sign, second sign is not to say anything unless a question is asked. So in this country, almost all scriptures begin with a question. Unlike elsewhere in the world, here we always encouraged the spirit of inquiry. The basis of science is spirit of inquiry. And basically in the Orient, we always encouraged, you should ask questions. We never said, no, don't ask questions. We say, ask questions. So now, coming to that in a little while, I know you have many questions. As intellectuals, we do have questions. And it's the questions that take us forward in the journey of life. Earlier, a professor asked me, what is the difference between, what is the connection between science and spirituality? What is science? Science is to know what this is. Knowing systematic analysis of what is science. Understanding, analysis and understanding. What is this is science, who am I is spirituality. They are extension of each other. Objective analysis is science, subjective inquiry is spirituality. Actually, see, they are same. They're both same. But there is a difference between the Orient and the Occident. In the Orient, they always said, you first believe, one day you will get an experience. There is some truth in that also. See, when you have a seed, and you sow the seed, then you believe the seed is going to sprout. And one day it will sprout. But in the Occident, it is first you believe and then one day you will get the result. In the Orient, here in the East, we always said first experience and then you can postulate your belief system. This is one of the reasons that science and spirituality never contradicted in the eastern part of the world. No scientist was ever persecuted in this part of the world. Here in all the Eastern, in all the Orient, but we have seen Spanish Inquisition and many scientists have been sent to gallows. In that part of the world where the philosophy or religion was, that you have to believe, whether you know it or not is immaterial. Isn't it? Here we did not emphasize on that. We said, you know it. You ask questions. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna, having said all that, he says, Vimarshayet. You just think about it. You ponder on it. Put it into the test of your logic. When you accept it, agree, then only you act on it. So that sense of intellectual freedom is in the DNA of this country. But unfortunately, for the past several centuries maybe, we have developed also a lot of superstitious things all along. So the real philosophy, real essence of knowledge or cream of our philosophy got buried underneath these superstitions. So it's very well understandable that we find science and spirituality are not getting along. If you think the practices we do are spiritualities, the customs and traditions we follow, all that is spirituality, definitely you find it a conflict. But if you go into the root of the system, the basic philosophy, then you find there is no border. Because we have always said, Tattva Jnanat Moksha. Tattva Jnana means knowing the principles. What are the principles? He said, first know earth element. Earth, water, fire, air, ether. You know, Professor Dur, who is one of the greatest nuclear scientists of this world, when he visited Bangalore, he told me, you know, the ancient people in Egypt, they knew only 4 elements. They didn't know anything about space. I said, in India, we knew. We always said Pancha Mahabhutas. We said there are 5 elements. He was shocked to hear that. He said, is it that people knew about ether here, about space? I said, yes, they knew about time. Because of the 36 elements that's counted in our philosophy, Desha, Kala, all this is counted. Space, time is all counted as principle, including Shiva Tattva. Shiva is also called Tattva, a principle. And what is Shiva Tattva? A state of consciousness which is neither waking, nor dreaming, nor sleeping, but something that underlines all this. So we were always in this mode of scientific temperament in our understanding, in our learning. We had this. But somewhere in the middle, of course, we seem to have lost that thing, that we need to bring that back. Now, what is contrary to science? As I said, first is belief, second is prejudice. What is detrimental to science is prejudice. If you have any type of prejudice, I tell you, you can't call yourself scientist. Because your prejudice does not allow you to perceive things properly. And when you cannot perceive, you can't call yourself a scientist. So, to have clear perception, we should have a mind which is free from stress, a mind which is healthy, vibrant, a mind which is full of enthusiasm, a spirit which is full of enthusiasm and creativity, and willingness to learn from any corner. I heard that there are some people who are opposing about the talk to this evening. I wish they, people who oppose me, they don't know me. They don't know. So even to oppose something, even to discard something, you have to study it properly. That is science. You study something and then you discard it. Then I call you have a scientific temper. But like there are people in the name of spirituality doing all sorts of boogie thing nonsense. Same way there are in the garb of scientists, there are all those who have such prejudiced mind and who have such a short-sightedness and who do not want to, they have a lot of fear in themselves. If you are so convinced about, or if you are sure about what you know is correct, you will not be scared to listen to any opinion, any talk by anybody, because you are not sure of yourself, you are scared to listen to other points of view. This country, this culture here, we always said, Anu Badra Kratavo Yantaveshvat. Even atheism is part of our culture. Atheism is welcomed. Every philosophy is welcome. And you said you should study all of them. Listen to all of that. And then you should choose what is right for you. This, I would say, is a real intellectual pursuit. not avoiding, not running away from any thing, not having prejudice about anything is not scientific mind at all. It only indicates a mind which is fearful somewhere within, that it is not sure about what it knows. It's scared to encounter the truth. So if you are strong, you will never be scared about anything. And not label anything without studying it. That is unscientific. In Tamil there is a saying, even stealing, kalavum katru marakkanam. That means in stealing also have to be learned and then be forgotten. So, anything you need to thoroughly understand. To understand something, you need to thoroughly go into it. Go to the deep of it, to the root of it. Then you can say this is good, this is not good, this is true, this is not true. Believing, not believing is your choice. Otherwise, we are also of the same mindset as the Spanish Inquisition. You have heard about the Spanish Inquisition? They were deaf. People who are deaf to new thoughts and who are blind to see the facts around them can't call themselves student of science. Having said this, I would say today is the World Mental Health Day. Now, the same knowledge, when we see from whom it comes. I want to give you an example, an incident actually. I want to narrate an incident. It was way back in 1980. I had organized a conference of doctors from AIIMS and the Vaidyas from Ayurveda. They are completely different categories. Way back in 80, those days, at least today, the line is little thin, the walls are little thin. Those days, the gap was so vast. So in the meeting, they wouldn't agree with each other on anything. One of the aspects was about turmeric. So the Ayurvedic Vaidyas, they came from Gujarat, from Kerala, from Tamil Nadu, all over India. So it was in Vasant Vihar. We had organized a nice sit-out. There were a couple of hundred of people. And the Vaidya said, the turmeric is Vayasthapan, means it is anti-aging. It stops you from aging. Immediately the response from the allopathy doctor side is, they stood up, Gurudev, these are all superstitions. It is just a pigment. It has no food value. I very clearly remember how the stance that the allopathy doctors took and the stand that the Ayurvedic doctor took. Of course, we had to, I'm good in greasing and making things quiet. brought the tempers down. The temper became very high. But 20 years later, we, the government of India, people of India, fought for the rights for turmeric. And we got the rights back. And it was established by then, the same scientists have established that turmeric definitely is anti-aging. It has 19 properties of important medicines that one takes. It's a blood thinner, it is anti-aging, and blah, 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 blah. And the same thing was said by those elderly people those long time ago. See the difference. Statin, a medicine which was given all over the world to everybody who had a little bit more cholesterol in their blood, as this is the life savior. And today that has been rejected. That a statin is harmful for you and cholesterol is nothing to do with your heart attack. So science is growing, and that's how it should be. And if you are close-minded, if you are not ready to listen to reason and logic, not ready to move forward, then you are no better than those zealots of religious fanaticism. Fortunately, in this country, our principle, our philosophy is never based on the fanaticism. We have always had an open mind and spirit of inquiry. That's why so many schools of philosophy could flourish here. Do you agree with me? Yeah. So keep an open mind. See, some people said, oh no, someone from Nimhan should have come and spoken on mental health. Yes, Nimhan's people come and have done the research on these techniques which we have been, teaching worldwide. I really say that millions of people around the world are benefited by breathing techniques. Even today I heard the Nobel Prize in Physics went to someone who found out about the oxygen reaction of the brain cells. And this is what happens with the pranayamas, which we have known from ages. People who practice pranayama, their mental health is very much in good shape. They feel very good, they feel very alert, they feel, we say meditation and some people come and say, oh, this is mindfulness. Then when it has come from some Western, with a Western code, you are able to take it. This is prejudice. A small fraction in this country also is obsessed with such a prejudice, and I'm sure they will get over it soon. It's not as much. It's not their fault because they were not exposed to this wisdom that this country has. They were exposed to only those sort of make-believe systems. It's not their fault. I understand them. But I would tell them and everybody else, the scientific temper we must develop in all aspects of life. Whether it is psychology, understanding people around you, relationship, or economy, we must have the systematic understanding, not ad hoc, work. So now I am open to questions. So having come to the mental health day today, we need to see how we can change this scenario. There's a lot of suicides happening around. Just now while coming in the car, somebody told me, a lady is working in Google. There were 12 of them who were working. Last year, this year, there were only 8. 4 of them committed suicide. In the same office. What is the reason? Why? There is a scientific explanation for this. We have a subtle body, the energy body in us. And this energy body or the mind is normally bigger than the physical body. Now, you will ask me, how do you prove this? You talk to any doctor, they know about a phenomenon called phantom limbs. When someone's limb is amputated, still they feel itching in that part. There is no leg or hand there, but they find it painful and itching. But when these people, when they undergo meditation, this phantom limb problem disappears. Now doctors don't know what to do. See, if you are having pain in a part of body which you have, you can be treated. You are having pain in a part of body which you don't have. So what does it do? It gives an insight into the whole phenomena of consciousness, of mind. We think the mind is inside the body. It's not so. It's the other way around. Body is inside the mind. You might have read about an article, it just came a week back, that said your mind is not just in your brain, it's all over the body. Have you heard about the article? It just came last week. Mind is not just in your brain. Where is it? It's all over the body. Now I would say mind is much bigger than the body. Your body is inside the mind. Now when this mind shrinks, you feel very uncomfortable. For example, when you're happy, what is the feeling you get? What is the feeling that is associated with happiness? Is something in you is expanding. You go to any corner of this planet and ask anyone, what is the feeling or sensation that is associated with happiness? They'll say you feel sense of expansion. And the same way, when something in you shrinks, is when you feel upset, angry, dejected and sad. Whenever you are sad, you don't have the sense of expansion. What is the feeling you get? Being crushed. So there is something in you that expands and that contracts. So one of the great rishis of our tradition, he said, Prasara Satu Vigyeya. What is worth knowing is that there is something in you that is expanding. It's worth knowing that. Why? When you know that, then you no longer become football of the situations and circumstances around you. Your happiness becomes unconditional. You don't no longer act like a slot machine. You will have independence. That is what they said, Atmaka, self-knowledge. This energy field in you. Now, when this energy shrinks, that's when you feel sad. If it shrinks further, then you feel very uncomfortable with the body. That's when one wants to destroy the body. It's like having a jacket which is so tight, having a shirt which is so tight. What do you want to do? You just want to get rid of the shirt. Right? Isn't it? Then only you feel freedom. This is the sense they get in when people want to commit suicide. Now, through pranayama, through kriya, through meditation, what happens? This subtle body of ours, the energy field in you starts expanding and becomes strong. And so, the suicidal tendency simply disappears. That which cannot go away just taking medication or some booze or drugs, it simply gets resolved when we do the pranayama and meditation. Now, how can you say meditation is not scientific? If you are saying meditation is not scientific, my dear, wake up, you are in the 18th century. Wake up, brush up your knowledge, wake up. There are hundreds and thousands of documentations, experiments that has happened and been documented around the globe, how meditation helps you. 20 minutes of meditation twice a day increases the gray matter in the brain. It changes the structure of the brain. These are the physiological measurements that you see. Psychological measurements are in abundance. There are plenty of them. So one must wake up and see So science and spirituality are not poles apart as far as the Oriental philosophy is concerned. They are extension of each other.